Hi, audience. Parul here again with another episode. Today I have a guest, Meher Parul Nagar, joining us from all the way from India. You might have seen Meher before on my YouTube channel. She always comes with a fantastic but very relevant topic that affects most of our lives. Now, welcome, Meher, and thank you for giving us your time. And today we'll be discussing a very important topic. Now, you know Meher from before. Meher is a trauma therapist and a trauma survivor herself. Everything Meher discussed here is her own practice, things she used to heal herself. So listen carefully and stay tuned to listen some important message that Meher going to share with us. Over to you, Meher. Please tell us a bit about yourself first.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad we are doing this again, and I think this series we decided to do to help, not just help, but educate a lot of people about what we are doing this time. So, what you just spoke about, I would want to add a couple of things as my introduction is. I am a complex post traumatic. I had complex post traumatic disorder which comes from a lot of trauma issues through generations. So it's not just okay your parents; it comes from the entire generation of yours. Okay, and it's just continuing. So it becomes so normal. It's so normal in a lot of Asian countries and Asian households that we don't even know that it exists until somebody comes and tells us about it, or maybe we get to know about it. And that's why we are doing this series to help you know. Are you there? Is it something, somebody is suffering, whatever? And this I work in this as a trauma, not just trauma expert, but I work for CPTSD and PTSD issues specifically because I see a lot of people who don't have resources, at least in countries like us, and good resources. Like we have resources, but I'm speaking about good resources who actually know what is CPTSD, because most times CPTSD is been considered into different mental health issues, which isn't true, like bipolar or borderline and all of that. And that's why I do this work. And I work for everyone who's going through this.
Well, thank you, Meher, for describing about post-traumatic disorder and how you can help people. Yeah, definitely, you raise an important point. Sometimes people label things just sake of labeling without understanding. So it's really important to understand different needs, how we can support, and when we understand different needs, whether it's post-traumatic disorder or is a mental health issues, then we can better support the person. So absolutely, you're right. Okay, so Meher, tell us a bit about yourself. Why you decided to help those people who's going through post-traumatic stress or who's already been through that?
As I said, a lot of people don't know what is CPTSD, okay, complex post-traumatic disorder. It's an alien word for a lot of people in foreign countries as well as in UK, US. Now people are getting educated and they're getting more aware about. So for me, just came as a thing when I was suffering that I thought that after my because of my rape, or maybe because of my current situation, I'm going through what I'm going through, but I was so wrong about it. Later I got to know that everything, all the triggers I'm getting in my body and my brain, and I'm unable to control myself. One thing I would want to say, because this is Suicide Prevention Month, and we are doing this series in the same month, I think I should be speaking about it, because a lot of times people also misunderstand that only if you have suicidal issues you have mental health issues, but that's not the truth. A lot of triggers which get into your body and brain are very alien, like you are gonna get sudden diseases, ailments from nowhere, constantly going through not just mental and physical health issues, but other issues as well, because you just don't know how to control your trigger. And that's why I do my work, and I love doing my work, honestly, because when I went through all of this, I realized there are a lot of people who are going through this. Are not aware about it. They are completely alien to this entire world of trauma and how trauma may look like to different people and all of that. And that's why I do what I do, Parul. And uh, yeah, I think there is a lot of one last line is that there is a huge need for a lot of us to get not just educated but seek help at the right time.
Absolutely, Meher. You said two important things. Is one is to understand, get educated, and the second thing is to get help, because we only have one life. Without getting help, we're going to be dealing with the trauma all our life. So it's really important to get help. Now, Meher, we're talking about today divorce, divorcing your parents. Now, why divorce?
I think before we get into why divorce, as I said, we should focus on what is divorce. Now, there is a
Absolutely,
huge
yes. What is divorce?
misconception.
Yes, yeah,
What is divorce?
yeah,
Because people, even I understood it incorrectly in after my divorce, because for me divorce was like two people getting separated and they hate each other and they don't want to see each other forever, but that's not the truth. I have seen a lot of people, and divorce doesn't mean that it happens only between people, as in couples. Okay, there is another misconception that we all of us carry, obviously because of what I spoke about couple of minutes ago, generational trauma. So what is generational trauma? It is like whatever our generations or parents have taught us, we are just gonna see the world or see things in the same way, those beliefs. And it includes everything, our belief system, patterns, and everything. So coming to what is divorce, is so important to understand that whatever we have learned from our generation, our parents and everything, that isn't a fact all the time. Divorce can happen between anyone, two friends, two people. Divorce can happen between two people, not necessary they need to be couple or anything, one thing. So and the topic we are talking about today isn't just won't be just about divorcing your parents, because as we go through a lot of it, we will get to know we are talking about how, you know our parents, we are going to talk about fatherhood, motherhood. Just going to give a little heads up so that all of us who's
yeah,
listening it is connected and they know what is coming up. Okay.
sure.
So we are going to talk about fatherhood, motherhood, family wound, sibling wound. These are wounds. These are real wounds. So when we are talking about divorcing parents, it's not gonna be just that. It can also include your guardian, your grandparents. It can include anybody and everybody who gets in there, right? So a wound is a wound, okay, and that is important to import. It's very important to understand before we start to even understand divorce, because when we are wounded is when we decide to separate. Okay, we don't just
Yes,
decide to separate in a one day. It never happens. When we are wounded deeply is when we decide to separate. And that's when we decide to, you know, you know, be like, no, I be in a stage wherein we are like, I can't take this anymore. I want to get out of it, or I just want to get over this relationship. Okay, so I think that this is very important. First, knowing that because you are in wound, that's why you are taking this decision. It's not coming suddenly because of anything, people assume that, suddenly, how come suddenly? Also because why divorce, what you asked. Uh, I think why divorce, half of it I said wounding, but also understanding that in a lot of cultures, in our culture, Asian culture, and a lot of other cultures as well, I have noticed Black lives, and a lot of people, we have been suppressed. We were being told to suppress our emotions. We never expressed our emotions to anybody, at least when it comes to about our parents, grandparents, family, we won't go out and say my parents are bad. And even if you're gonna do that, people are gonna hate you for that. People are gonna judge you for that, and people will say bad things about you. People will assume or consider you somebody who has a lot of issues. They are mad. Honestly, people literally use words like that. This person is mad, and specifically countries like ours, Asian countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, blah blah blah, right? People literally will call you a completely mad person, lost game. So the reason we have these deep wounds and suddenly somebody coming to talk about why divorce never happens suddenly. There is a lot of wounding which has happened ever since childhood. And because we were maybe aware, not aware, but we never had that, I feel we never had that space space or opportunity to come and speak about it. I'm glad that now that we have come we are living in a generation where we can speak and we can use our
Absolutely.
voices to help
Absolutely.
others, and we can do all of this. I think it's a blessing, uh, which has come to us after years.
Absolutely, Meher. So before you say any more, I'm going to just summarize what you talked about. So first of all, thank you for reminding us that we're going to be doing a series of this. And also it is a suicide prevention month. So we want people to think about and support those people who need the support. And those who need the support, come out, seek help. Please don't stay silent. Yeah. Now, Meher, you talked about uh, explaining what divorce is, which is really important. You also talked about, divorce is not just happen between couples. It also happen between parents, children's, grandparents, any relation. Divorce can happen with any relation, colleagues, boss, any relation. So it's really important. So you also talked about why divorce, and you talked about divorce comes from a wound. People decide to separate because they are hurt, they decided to divorce, which is really also to understand. And also you talked about cultural issue, and I know certain cultures, especially us Asian background, yes, you get um, kind of picked on really if you talk about badly about your parents or your elders. People think talking about elders mean you are bad, but then you hide the mistakes they made. Mistake could happen by anyone, whether purposely or unpurposely, intentionally or unintentionally. I've seen parents who sexually abuse their daughters. I've seen men who sexually abuse their daughter, fathers sexually abuse their daughter. It's really important to talk about the issue. Not all elders, not all parents are saint. Yes, we love our parents, we love our elders, but same time, there are people who make mistake or who do things intentionally. So it's best to bring the issue out, discuss how we can heal ourselves and not to shy away from it. It's not an easy topic. It's not easy to raise because they're your parents or they're your loved one. But if you don't raise it, the question to ask yourself, do you want to stay silent? Or do you want to stay in same position rest of your life? Because you go one life. So it's really important. Seek out. Seek help. Get some help for yourself. Live the best version of yourself. So we're going to come back to Meher, to share some tips with us how to go about to divorce your parents. And she will then wrap up with some important information for future episode. Meher, can you please share your top tips from your experience, how people can recognize and how people can divorce their parents?
I think the first thing I spoke about the wound. So here it's important to understand what wound am I talking about. So a lot of people misunderstand wounds. Like maybe your parents would have been little strict on you, or maybe they were, they just wanted the best for you. and a lot of other things, they did whatever they knew was best. See, we are not here to literally sit down and do a debate or a discussion on that, because it's very subjective, the way people see this. It's going to be very subjective, but as a trauma survivor as an expert, I have seen a lot of women, men, as you rightly said, a lot of them get abused, not just by their fathers, but within their family members, by their
Absolutely,
mom, their
absolutely. Yeah,
grandparents
yeah.
and uncles and whatnot,
Mm.
everybody, brother and sibling, even sibling has been part of it.
Yeah.
So, one tactic I would say is very important to understand that it's a wound and accept it. Until we don't see it as a wound, we are never gonna come and seek help. You get me? So it's very important to see it the way it is, not to beautify it and not to say this, oh, he's or they are my family members, blood, whatever, blood relation or whatsoever. So uh, it's okay. No, it's not okay. Abuse is abuse,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
trauma is trauma. The more we see it the way it is, the easier it becomes. My first tactic: just see it the way it is. Don't beautify it. Don't deny it, because denial will only cause more trauma issues inside your body and brain. It is not
Yes,
gonna take you anywhere, and it will only go take you to the worst place, which I know it is very difficult to listen to, but it is what it is. That's why there's one portion of my work is also which is named Genuine Conversations with Meher, because I decided to say the things the way it is. So even if it is difficult, impossible, just accept and acknowledges. My tactic number two, what I spoke about.
hmm,
First is see the way it is. Second, accept and acknowledge it, even it is extremely difficult and painful to do that. You know what, darling, whosoever is says listening to it, I know how it feels. Like, I have been there myself, and I know it's just so easy to say that, but trust me, the more you see it and accept and acknowledge it the way it is, the easier it becomes for you to heal yourself. The easier it becomes for you to get out of it, and start seeing your world in a better way. Because one thing I would also want to say is that trauma makes you go down, and you can't see your abilities and capabilities. So it is so important to see, to know, and to see that you're more than your trauma. You are more than whatever happened to you, and your past can never define you with how people see you and take you as. It can never ever define you. And that's why it is so important not just to seek help, but to stand up for yourself and decide, I'm done with it. I'm just gonna get out of it. Even if I have support or no support, it doesn't matter. I just want to get out of it. I think taking up stands for you is a very difficult call for a lot of trauma survivors who go through, traumas through their own close parents, sibling, and grandparents. So I think this will be my third tactic.
yeah. Thank you, Mary. I mean, you've raised a couple of points, but one of the things you said, it's important to acknowledge and seek help, but not just seek help, get out of there. Because if you don't help yourself, nobody else. And if you remain in there, you'll be blaming everyone else but not seeking help. That, I mean, it's not just you affected, everybody else affected, because you're blaming everybody else because you're not getting the help you need. So it's really important to acknowledge, seek help, and get out of the situation. And we all here to help you. Meher is there. You can reach me as well, and we'll put the details later. So Meher, before we wrap up, two things I want to ask you. One is, what is your next episode going to be? What are we recording next week?
So next episode will be all about fatherhood. I think first we will focus on fatherhood, and then we'll go ahead with other goals.
Okay, great. And your last final thoughts, if you were to leave one thoughts with our audience, what that would be for today?
I think we should understand divorce as a good sign, not as a bad sign. Even after divorce, two people can still live together. Divorce doesn't mean you're gonna go apart from someone. It only means now you're gonna have a relationship with with healthy boundaries, with a healthy person as in mentally, physically, emotionally. So divorce is all here. The divorce we are talking about, it's more about that. So it's about having a relationship maybe with same people or same person or whomsoever, but in a with a healthy um, boundaries and mindset.
Well, thank you very much, Meher. If people want to know more about you, how they can connect with you?
I think Instagram, and I have my email ID as well. I have my
So, what's your Instagram name?
what's my Instagram name is genuine conversations Meher.
And your LinkedIn name?
My LinkedIn name is Meher Parul Nagar. So probably they can go and search in there. And I think Instagram is the best way to do that.
Go to my Sunday message. Well, thank you very much, Meher, for your time and sharing your message with us. To audience, there will be a number of series with Meher. It is a suicide prevention month, and we're trying to raise awareness, but also bringing expert like Meher, who is a survivor herself, but now she is a expert as well. So we'll be bringing next episode. We'll be talking about father wound. There will be mother wound. There will be a whole lot of talk about wound and remedies. Not just talking about the issues, but also remedies the way forward. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much, Meher.
Thank you so much, Parul.